want you to think of someone right now who is fun to be around. Are they encouraging? Are they smart? Are they positive? Are they compassionate? You most likely didn't say that they're negative and boring and that they complain all the time. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is shifting your mindset, because there are a lot of people who are extremely negative. Hey icons, my name is Ruth Ann if you haven't met me. And okay, I can't speak. Welcome to episode 6 of After Hourssss. I'm so happy that you're here, and before we get started, you should make sure that you're subscribed. Go ahead, thanks. Okay. So, first of all, negative people are not fun to be around. Let's start there. It is a psychological fact that we naturally will gravitate to positive and happy people because they make us feel good. You never forget how people make you feel. You may forget what they say, but you never forget how they make you feel. And if somebody is constantly bringing the mood down and being negative, you're going to remember that, and vice versa. If somebody is constantly bringing the mood up and they're super positive and they're always making you feel good, you're going to always remember that, and you're going to associate them with somebody who is fun to be around. And it's all about your mindset, because your life is only as good as your mindset and the perspective that you have on your life. If you're constantly complaining and being like, I hate my life, like, it's so boring, then okay, you're going to hate your life and you're going to think that your life is boring. But if you're constantly focusing on the good things about your life and saying the things that you like about it, you're going to find more enjoyment in your life. Because constant complaining just affects the way that you view yourself and your life, especially if you are self-deprecating. If you're self-deprecating, that's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to make you view yourself even more negatively than before. And nobody likes people who are just miserable and negative, because they're not fun to be around. And when you complain about something, I want you to think about how blessed you truly are. And complaining, there's nothing wrong with complaining. You know, sometimes my stomach hurts and I'm going to be like, oh, my stomach hurts, and complain about it. But that's different than like constantly complaining about the state of your life or yourself, because it changes the way that you view those things. If it's I have a little rule with myself that the only things I complain about are things that I can change within the day that I complain about it. And you know, if you always are complaining about the job that you have, think about the positive aspects of it and how blessed that you are to have a job. And a lot of times it's horrible and you need to leave because it's detrimental to your mental health. But so you should look for something else. Don't settle for what you don't want. Look for something else. But while you're still in that situation, focus on the good things about it. And you're allowed to rant about it. You're allowed to be like, I don't like this certain person, but, you know, don't dwell on it too much and let it ruin the way that you view yourself in your life. There is also nothing wrong with talking about like the reality of a situation. It's actually healthy because you're getting out how you feel about something. But like I said, it's important not to just like dwell on those things and harbor a victim mentality and be like, everything always goes wrong for me. Like, it's important to not do that, because if you're constantly complaining, you will be calling in more bad things into your life and more bad energy, and you're honestly just manifesting more suffering if you keep complaining and focusing on the bad things. And on the opposite end, if you're constantly being positive and looking at the bright side of things, you're going to attract more good things into your life. You're going to, you know, if you're constantly like, good things always happen to me, you know, they will start to. And let me ask you something. Would you rather be around somebody who constantly brings the mood down, or somebody who is always helping you see the positive side of things? And also, it is important to find a balance between being positive and, you know, like seeing the reality of things. It's important to change your mindset and be positive all the time, but it's also important not to be so positive that you don't ever admit when anything is wrong. Like, you can't always just be like, everything in the world is always perfect and there's no bad things happening in the world. There are a lot of bad things happening in the world, but it's important that you don't dwell on those things and focus on them and let it ruin your life. You know, and it's important to like talk about the things that are happening. And, you know, it doesn't just have to be like about the political climate, but it can be about like anything. It's important to admit that those things are going on and not pretend that they're not happening, but not let them affect you, which it's definitely like easier said than done. There's many things that are easier said than done. And an example of this, well, an example of me having to change my mindset is that I was constantly angry and constantly upset in my sophomore year of high school because I was going through a really difficult time regarding my mental health. I was on Accutane, and that really messes up your mental health, like completely, like literally. it it changes the way that your body operates, and for some people, including myself, it changes the way that your mind operates in some ways, your mental health specifically. It but I wouldn't change it for the world because look at me. um but I was also one of the main factors was I was surrounded by people who were extremely misogynistic, like to the point where all that they talked about was how much they hated women, and it made me so angry, and it made me feel hopeless. Like when anybody talks about like women in a disrespectful way, I just feel hopeless because I'm like, there's nothing I can do to like change your mind. And obviously, it's important to speak up when people do things like that, which I'm working on. Sometimes it's hard for me to speak up, but I'm working on that. It's important to speak up if somebody is saying disrespectful things, but you know, just the hopeless feeling of like, you're probably never going to change the way that you're thinking. But anyways, so that really affected my mental health in sophomore year and genuinely turned me into a pessimist. I was so negative. Like, I was looking back at my notes app and I would just write little thoughts throughout the day, and every single thing that I wrote was like, I hate when this happens, I hate this, I hate that. And now the thoughts that I write down are like, I love this, I love that. And like, I would always just talk about all the things that I didn't like, and now I talk about the things that I do like and the things that bring me joy. So I had to literally completely rewire the way that my mind works to become an optimist and find more enjoyment in life. And it took a lot of work and a lot of time, but I eventually have been able to rework that. So another example of shifting your mindset is if you get rejected from something, you are truly just being redirected to something even better. And another thing is, don't view where you are right now as the only part of your life. Like, especially in high school, people are like, okay, that's it. It's high school. I have to figure my life out. Like, high school feels like a really big deal, but it's really just a small fraction of your life because you are a teenager. I'm saying this to myself literally. You have so much more ahead of you. Um, and you know, it's not, high school is not the end of the world. And you know, sometimes I need to remind myself that I'm literally just 17 and I don't need to be perfect. um, but yeah, like if you are unhappy with certain aspects of your life, it's not always going to be like this, it's not always going to feel like this, but it's up to you to change it. And every single day is a fresh start and a new chance to to change the things that make you unhappy. It's going to take time, it's going to be difficult, but it's worth it if you want to live a life that you love. And this is a little bit of a side tangent, everything that I'm saying, but it's not really, because I'm talking about shifting your perspective in different ways. And every single emotion, every single bad thing that happens is always temporary, and it leads you into something even better. That's another way I've been able to shift my mindset, is whenever I'm feeling a heavy emotion, I'm able to remind myself that it's temporary and it's not the end of the world if I feel unmotivated or doubtful or sad, because eventually it'll pass and I'll feel better and be able to turn it into something new. And those bad things, always end up leading to something better. Like I was talking about, I was going through a horrible time in sophomore year, and I advocated for myself, and I was like, I want to do online school. And I do online school now, and I'm the happiest that I've literally ever been. So you know, that horrible time in my life led me to becoming like the happiest, healthiest version of myself, and taught me how, like, what I need in order to become better and regulate myself. And it also gave me a passion for bettering myself and helping others to do the same, hence why I'm literally recording this video. And I also just left a job that was negatively affecting my mental health, and I had the choice to either dwell on the uncertainty of what's going to happen next, or, you know, choose to believe that something better is on its way to me. And I'm choosing to believe that something better is on its way to me because it is. That's really, life has a way of always working out like that. Like, something better is always right around the corner when you let go of what doesn't serve you. And I had an interview. If you watched my crashing out video that I made, I got rejected from a job. That was not the source of the crash out. It was just like a week long thing. But I got rejected from that job, and at first I was upset, but then I was like, actually, I'm going to shift my perspective on this and choose to believe that something better is coming. Maybe I would have hated that job even more, or maybe it would have been another negative environment and I wouldn't have known. And I am also kind of glad that I did get rejected, because when I went in there, it was so overstimulating. Like, there was overhead lighting and the music was so loud I could barely hear my own thoughts. So I'm like a little bit happy that I didn't end up working there. Because things always end up playing out and falling into place, even if it takes forever, even if there's difficult things along the way. It's important that you keep that perspective. And what's meant for me, or what's meant, sorry, I'm used to saying this in my head. What's meant for you will never miss you. If you want something, it's not a coincidence, and it will come to you in the right way at the right time, and maybe even something better. You know, it always ends up working out like that. Like, if it doesn't matter how it happens or when, because what you want will come to you in some way. Like, even if it's not the exact thing that you wanted, it'll end up being something that's meant for you. Even if it's something that feels difficult, it'll teach you something and bring you something better. Like, think of a time that you were worried about an outcome. Did I can't speak. Did it end up being okay, or maybe even better than you thought? My guess is it probably was. Like I said, life has a way of falling into place how it's supposed to, even when you can't see the big picture. You know, like, when you start building the foundation of something, it's not going to immediately be perfect. And the big picture, there's so much going on out there that you don't know. And it feels, yeah, that sentence wasn't going anywhere. And you just need to believe that everything is going to be okay, because it always is. And even if you don't believe it, or if you don't believe that it will be okay, it won't. And it is a lot, like, you really just have to harbor this deep knowing that everything is going to work out for you, because it always ends up working out in some way. It's not going to be easy. Things aren't going to be perfect, but it will end up working out eventually how it's supposed to. And I've spent a lot of time and energy being able to shift my perspective in that way, and remember that, like, things are going to be difficult, but it will eventually work out. I just have a deep knowing that it will work out no matter what, because it always has in the past. And, you know, it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter when it happens, it's going to work out. And it's taken a lot of energy for me to be able to finally believe that. So yeah. And it's a lot easier said than done to change your mindset, but you should start small. Begin by becoming more conscious of the things that you start to say about yourself and think about yourself in your life, and start shifting it to something else. You know, if you constantly are thinking, everything bad always happens to me, catch yourself in that thought and shift it and be like, actually, good things happen to me. And the more and more that you do that, it'll start to become a belief, a core belief, and it'll become easier to believe that about yourself. You know, I really struggled with self-doubt over this past year, and that was like the main thing that happened this year, was being able to rework that, because over and over I kept telling myself, I don't accept this self-doubt as my reality, and this self-doubt does not align with me and who I'm trying to become, and it's a lie. It's not true. It's a belief that I've learned. And, anything that I had to say, I shifted my perspective in order to believe in myself. And it still is sometimes difficult, but now I have a little toolkit, if you will, of things to say when I feel that doubt, and I'm able to rework it and believe in myself. And, yeah. And I also want to say that you should avoid surrounding yourself with pessimistic people who only see the negative side of things, because you are who you surround yourself with. And if you aren't able to cut people off because maybe they're like members of your family or something, just don't let that energy affect you and don't claim that energy. If somebody says something negative, even if you're just in your head, just be like, no, that's not me, that's not my reality, because I believe in myself and I'm a positive person, and it's important to, I literally already read that, and I know sometimes things feel uncertain and sometimes they don't work out how you expect them to, but the hard things always end up transforming into something even better, and something that teaches you something about yourself. And what's meant for you always ends up passing you by. Or that's not true. What's not meant for you always ends up passing you by. That job that I interviewed for, it passed me by because it wasn't meant for me. And I know that, and I was able to shift my perspective in that way. And what is meant for you will always find you, even if it's something difficult. I was meant to go through that difficult time in sophomore year in order to gain a passion and change the way that I thought about myself, and in order for us to find something even better for myself, online school. And it isn't up to you how things work out. You just have to believe that they will, because you're protected and you shouldn't rush things. Things will fall into place without you having to force them to fall into place. And think about how much progress that you make in a year, and tell me that you're still worrying about where this year will end up. You have to really put that into perspective as well. Shift your perspective on that and think about how much progress you make in a short amount of time, especially if you are dedicated to working on yourself. You make so much progress. So you don't need to worry, because you will make so much progress by the end of this year. And if you knew where your path was taking you, you wouldn't be so worried about it. Your path is already written for you. Your path is already set for you. So you don't need to worry about where it's going. And the last thing that I have written down is to view yourself as a princess. True. You should. It's hard to do that. But when you rework your mindset, you can shift your perspective. View yourself as literally a princess. Because you are, okay? Anyways, I don't really know. That thought didn't really have like any other meaning besides that, but I have really worked on my confidence this year and being able to see myself as a princess, essentially. And yeah, I mean, it would be hard in one video to explain everything that I've done to rework the way that I think about my life, because genuinely, I can't even fathom it in my own head. But I'm very happy with where I'm at in my mindset right now, because I've been able to continuously shift my perspective. So now I have a few different ways to shift your mindset. Number one is to embrace imperfection. Embracing your flaws allows you to embrace your progress and to let go of the fear of failure. This is something that I struggle with because I'm a perfectionist, but it's one of the things that I'm intentionally trying to do this year, is to just embrace my flaws, because the only way to truly love yourself is to love every single part of yourself, including the dark parts of yourself that are hard to admit. And admitting the dark parts of myself has completely changed my life and allowed me to embrace every part and love myself unconditionally. Next thing is to train your brain. Your mind constantly looks for proof of the things that you are trying to tell it, and it loves repetition. So keep reminding yourself of beautiful things. Keep reminding yourself that you live a beautiful life, that you're lucky, that you're successful, whatever it is. And eventually your brain will be like, right, I am successful, I am beautiful. And you'll believe it, and it will become a core belief. And it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, but it's so worth it. And I literally owe everything to repetition, honestly. Next thing is to focus on what you have to be grateful for. Whether it's writing down 3 things every day, writing down 1 thing, slowing down and counting the things around you that you're grateful for, just putting it into perspective and thinking about the fact that you have so many things that other people wish for. Because you are truly so much more blessed than you realize. And recently I've just been feeling so grateful to the point where it literally almost like brings me to tears, or like I start giggling because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Like, I am very happy with the chapter in my life that I'm in right now. And there is uncertainty in the chapter in my life right now, but I'm not letting it get the best of me, because I know that it's going to play out how it's supposed to. And I'm focusing on what I have to be grateful for. Next thing is to view failure as a learning experience. Every failure makes you more successful. Bow. And a quote that I read yesterday was, "Success is failure turned inside out." I actually want to read you this entire poem. I found it, I think it was either in Elle or Vogue, but I made a collage yesterday, and I found this, and I didn't put it in my collage, but here's what it says. It's called "Don't Quit." The text is so small. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us I can't read. As every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. Literally, you never know how close you are to a breakthrough. You could be right around the corner. Like, it's right there, you know? So that was, I can't remember if that was in Vogue or Elle, but whatever. And yeah. Anyways, so next thing is to focus on what you can control. My therapist gave me this idea a few months ago, and it was amazing. It made me feel so much relief, because it was in the fall when I was starting to think about different things for like colleges and stuff, and I was really worried about it. And she was like, write down what you can control and what you can't control, and take it one step at a time. So if you can control something, do it, control it, and take it one step at a time. But if you can't, that's one less thing to worry about, and it's not up to you what happens, you know? And that's a comforting thing, not a scary thing. Next thing is, stop seeking approval. Make decisions with one person in mind, yourself. And obviously take that with a grain of salt. Your actions have consequences. Don't just like make decisions with no regard for other people, but just like, if you want to do something, if you want to pursue something, don't hold yourself back because you're worried about what people might think. Speaking of which, I just made a video about that, so you should go check it out. And next thing is to be kind to yourself and others, and to look for the best in people. There's good in everyone, and sometimes it's hard to see it, but it's important to have a perspective of like, we're all just trying our best. And, you know, sometimes when people like say you feel like somebody's being mean to you, it probably doesn't say anything about you, and they might just be having a bad day. And that's another thing that's helped me, shifting my perspective in that way. Next thing is to repeat positive things to yourself. I've said this multiple times, but affirmations are so amazing and useful. And every single affirmation that you say becomes more and more ingrained in your mind, and It becomes a core belief. And rework the way that you think about yourself in your life through journaling as well. I also made a video about journaling because seeing it written out solidifies it. And next thing is to focus on each step of your journey. The big picture, don't worry about the big picture. It's not up to you. You can't see the big picture, but just know that there is so much more going on in the big picture that you don't even know about. And you can only see like each step in front of you. And think of it like driving down a foggy road at night. You can see what's right in front of you, but you can't see the big picture. So all you really have to worry about is what's right in front of you. And, you know, every little thing that you do gets you closer to your final destination. So you should celebrate yourself along the way and every little step that you make. You know, like I said in my last video, you're even closer to what you want than when you started watching this video. And the last thing that I have written down is to recognize that growth comes from discomfort. Those are all little ways to shift your mindset. And I hope that helps you, but we're going to move on to the last section, which is afterthought. I need to write some new ones soon because I'm low-key running out. Okay. It says, fun fact. These are... I dangerously hyperfixate on things, and I've never liked anything a normal amount. Right. That's true. An example of some of my hyperfixation, or no, my special interests are the show Normal People I watched recently. Like, all the books that I read, all the movies that I watch, I get so passionate about them. And, like, literally, I was listening to Beyonce today, and I was literally like, I didn't even know what to do with my body. I'm like, oh my gosh, this music is so good, I don't even know what to do. Like, there's things like that where, like, I feel so passionately and, like, so obsessed with it to the point where it's, like, low-key dangerous. But, like, I don't know, not in, like, a crazy way. It depends. But, like, if somebody mentions a show that I really know a lot about and love, girl, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Anyways, I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about that. So, before I go, comment below a way that you have shifted your perspective recently, and also comment below one of your special interests. Or hyperfixations, or whatever. There's a difference, actually. I learned the difference between that, which is that hyperfixations are more like temporary, and special interests are things that you know literally everything about, and they are not as, like, temporary. So yeah, let me know. And also let me know what else you want to see, what you want me to talk about, or what vlogs you want to see. I have an exciting vlog coming soon. Yeah, I hope you're having an amazing day. And make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm brainwashing you. And yeah, I will see you next week. And I love you. And thank you for watching, like I said. And bye.